Hi, my name is Marco and I'm the Business Development Manager here at Avio Presentation Systems. Today we're going to take you through an education webinar. So the webinars are starting back again as September is starting as well. Webinars will be held on the first Tuesday of the month at 2:45 p.m. and on the second Wednesday of the month at 3:45 p.m. That way you get a chance to join the call if you're maybe finished after a class in primary school or after a class in a secondary school. So today I'll take you through different inputs that we have on our Clevertouch, how to share your laptop to the screen with a wire and how to share it wirelessly. And then I'm going to take you through some of the onboard features that we have on our Clevertouch as well. First things first, what I currently have on the screen, it's called CleverLive. So it's a digital signage platform made by Clevertouch. CleverLive comes at no extra cost, so it's a free app that comes with your Clevertouch interactive display. You're able to connect it to your CleverLive account and you're able to push out different messages, different announcements onto your Clevertouch and etc. To exit out of CleverLive, all you have to do is just tap on the screen and that's going to take you back to your home page of your Clevertouch. Here we have two arrows on the sides, one on the left and one on the right side of the screen. That's going to give us an access to different types of apps, which I'll take you through in a few minutes. And we also have a down arrow, which is going to give us access to our different inputs. So for example, as you can see, I'm running on Lynx, which is the Android side of that interactive display. So the interactive display already comes with an Android system. So it's essentially like a big phone that you have in front of you. So there is no need to actually use your laptop because you're able to connect your cloud and etc. to that Android side of the display. There's also HDMI 1, 2, and 3. There's DisplayPort and a Type-C option on this model that I'm currently using, which is the Impact Max 2. If you're connecting your computer or your laptop to the screen via HDMI, you're going to receive audio and visual from your laptop to the screen. It's the same with DisplayPort, so you're going to receive that audio and visual. Now, if you want to have two-way touch, so that interactivity between your laptop and the screen, all you have to do is plug in this additional touch cable. So this has a square end. The square end will go into your interactive display, and it also has a USB end. The USB end will go into your laptop. That's going to give you that interactivity between your laptop and the screen when using HDMI and DisplayPort. Now, as you can see, we also have a Type-C option, which in my opinion is the best option if you're going for a wired connection. Type-C will allow you to charge your device while you're presenting. It will also give you that audio, visual, and it will give you that two-way touch without having to use that additional cable for interactivity. So in my opinion, Type-C is probably the best option if you're going for a wired connection. Inside those settings, we also have our brightness settings and we also have our volume adjustment as well. On the left hand side in our display settings, we have a few different settings, again, depending on which model of the Clevertouch you have. So we have our auto brightness there, we have our auto color temperature, energy saving mode, and etc. So we can play around these settings in our own time. We also have some audio settings where we can set our audio to be a standard audio, or we can set it to a meeting class audio type and etc. We can customize it ourselves as well if we wish to do so. So that's the way to connect with a wire from your laptop to the screen. Now I'm going to show you how to connect wirelessly as well. So along the top of our Clevertouch, we have this 6-digit code. So if I tap on it and then if I tap on the little house icon or view the main interface, I'm able to open up this window. So again, this gives me access to a 6-digit code. Now I'm going to download the Clevershare app on my laptop. When I download the Clevershare app on my laptop, I want to make sure I'm connected to the same network on both of my devices. So as you can see here, it's telling me that I have a little Wi-Fi icon and it's telling me that I'm connected to Avio Wi-Fi, meaning that I'm connected to my current office Wi-Fi. I want to make sure I'm connected to that same network on my device. So I'm currently using a Surface Pro. So on my Surface Pro, I want to make sure I'm connected to that network. Once I'm connected to the same network, I want to go into my Clevershare app on my Surface Pro, and I'm going to type in that 6-digit code into my app. In here, I get two options. Once I type in the code, I get an option to screen share, which I'm going to show you now in a few seconds. So I'm able to tap on screen share and I'm able to tap on mirror. And then I'm able to accept that connection and I'm able to mirror what's happening on my laptop to my interactive display. Now the useful thing with this is that you get two-way touch between the laptop and the screen, meaning that I'm actually able to navigate around my Surface Pro from the screen itself. Now at the bottom left side of the screen, I get a small arrow. This arrow gives me a few different options. So I have a little shutdown icon that's going to allow me to stop that connection from my laptop to the screen. Next to that, I have a window with an arrow that's going to bring my Clevershare connection into a smaller window, and I'm able to move it around the screen. This could be useful if you, for example, have a whiteboard open on the screen. You can put that Clevershare connection into a smaller window and you can see what's happening on your laptop while you're taking down different notes on your whiteboard, for example. If I tap on that arrow again, and if I tap on the window with an arrow, I can bring it back into my full screen. In here, I also get a choice for a keyboard. So this will allow me to bring up my on-screen keyboard on my laptop. And for example, let's say we're looking to look up different things where it says type here to search at the bottom left side. We're able to do that with our on-screen keyboard. Back into those settings, we also have a volume icon. So if I tap on it, I'm able to mute that audio coming from my laptop to the screen if I wish to do so. Once I'm done using my Clevershare, as I said, I'm able to tap on the little shutdown icon to stop that connection. Now the useful thing with Clevershare is that we can have up to 9 devices sharing to the screen at the same time, and we can have up to 50 connections under our devices here, and we can choose which devices we want to allow to screen share and which devices we want to stop from screen sharing. Another great feature that our Clevershare has is called Desktop Sync. Essentially, my desktop sync will allow me to just have to accept the permission. It will allow me to see what's currently happening on the interactive display on my own device. So for example, if we have a visually impaired student in class, they're able to take their laptop and they're able to connect via Clevershare to our screen. They can use the desktop sync feature and they can see what's happening on the interactive display on their own device. So that's the different ways that we can connect to our screen wirelessly or with a wire. Now I'm going to take you through a few of the onboard features that we have on our Clevertouch. So as I mentioned previously, we do have the 2 side arrows. This is going to take us into a different menu of different apps that we have on the screen. For example, along the top we have our note, which is our default whiteboard that's set in our settings. So this could be either our legacy whiteboard, which is more of a simplified whiteboard, or it could be the Lynx whiteboard, which is more of a educational whiteboard kind of aimed at education level with different resources that we're able to bring inside the whiteboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you the features of the Lynx whiteboard since this is an educational webinar. So once I go into my Lynx whiteboard, as you can see, I'm currently signed in. You might not have an account, so if you just look up lynxcloud.app online, you're going to be able to make an account and you're going to be able to connect your Google Drive and your OneDrive to your account. This could be useful as you're able to bring in different files from your Google Drive or your OneDrive. You're able to bring in different Word files, PowerPoint files, videos, and etc. onto that whiteboard. You're able to play those presentations or those videos while you're taking different notes on the whiteboard. I'll show you an example of that in a few minutes as well. As you can see here in the middle, we can see our recent files that we've opened on the whiteboard. Along the bottom left side, we have a 3-line menu. Inside here, we have different options. I'm just going to quickly take you through a few different useful options that we have in here. We have our language. It's currently set to English for mine, but you can change that to Irish, Spanish, and etc. if we're doing different languages in class, for example. We also have our fonts along the top. We have 1, 2, and 3. And we also have our recognition pen tool. Our fonts will essentially allow us to type on the keyboard. Our fonts will allow us to type on the screen with the keyboard. So we can choose a font for number 1, then we can choose a font for our keyboard slot on number 2, and we can choose a font for our keyboard slot on number 3. We can change the color, sizing, writing of it, and etc. And I'll go back to that now in a few minutes and show you how those fonts will apply on the screen. Here on the top left side we have new, so that's going to allow me to open up a new whiteboard. In here we have 1/1, so that's the different pages of my whiteboard. So I'm able to use the plus icon to add multiple pages onto that, and we're able to use a duplicate icon as well to duplicate pages if we wish to do so. Along the middle bottom of the screen, we have our finger pointer tool. When that finger pointer tool is selected, we're able to move different images around, we're able to resize them, and we're able to move maybe different writings around and etc. Next to that, we have a pencil tool. So inside my pencil tool, I'm able to tap into that pen and just tap into it one more time to get access to my pencil case, I call it. So in here we have different types of pens. So we have an ink pen here. We can use the horizontal lines to resize that pen, and we can use the little color block to change the color of it, and we can start annotating on the screen. Now, your screen does have multiple touch points, so you can have multiple kids using the Clevertouch at the same time and annotating on the whiteboard at the same time. Next to that, we have a highlighter. So we can change the size of that highlighter and the color of it, and we can highlight different things on the screen again. Then we have a laser pen. The laser pen will disappear after a few seconds on the screen. So it could be useful if we're looking to point something out on the screen for a few seconds. We have our fine tip pen, which is fairly similar to our ink pen. We also have our recognition tools. So this comes with Lynx Pro. So that's an additional kind of subscription that you would be getting if you're looking to add in different pro features like AI features, more cloud storage onto your Lynx account, and etc. So with my Lynx Pro, I have my text and shapes recognition. So this will recognize my text and turn it into a font I specify in my settings. It will also recognize my shapes, and it will turn them into more of kind of straight lines for those shapes as well. We also have a maths tool, which is very useful. So we can write an equation on the screen. We can use our finger pointer tool afterwards to select the answer, and we can reveal the answer of a certain equation to our class. Back into our pencil case, we also have a rainbow pen. So very popular in primary school. Anytime you lift your finger or your pen off the screen, the color of that pen will change. We also have an animated rainbow pen that's constantly going to change the color of that pen on the screen. We also have a curve tool here. So a curve tool will allow me to draw a line on the screen. Afterwards, I can select my finger pointer tool. I can select that line, and I'm able to make a curve on that line. I'm also able to use the little triangle tool in the middle to add more points onto that line, and then I'm able to move those points around and manipulate them around as well to make multiple curves and etc. I also have an eraser there at the end that we're able to use to erase different things on that whiteboard. We have our T letter. So this is where the fonts that I was talking about earlier come in. So our T letter will allow us to type on the screen with our keyboard. So if I tap on that T letter twice, I'm going to get a choice of those different fonts that we were editing earlier. So I'm able to tap on the screen depending on where I want to type. My keyboard will pop up, and I'm able to start using my keyboard to annotate on the screen. Afterwards, I'm able to use my gray circles to change the sizing of that writing, or I can just pinch into my writing, and I'm able to change the sizing of it that way too. I have my paint pot next to my T letter. The paint pot will allow me to change the color of my background, or change the color of different writings or different lines that I might have on the screen. Next to my paint pot, I have a plus icon. So the plus icon has changed a little bit since the last Lynx update. All the features used to be kind of in a line, but now they're in some sort of a box. So I'm going to take you through different features that we have inside our plus icon. Our first one is media. So this will allow me to look up different things online. So I can look up different photos, I can look up different GIFs, clip art, different videos from different online sources. Now the useful thing about this is that it's all safe search, and there's no ads shown with any of your YouTube videos on the screen. So for example, I'm going to go into Google, and on Google we're going to look up, let's say we're learning about countries, so we're just going to look up Croatia. Afterwards, we can drag and drop a map of Croatia on the screen. Again, we can resize it then afterwards as well, and we can move that around. We're able to then afterwards use our pens. or our highlighters, for example, and we're able to highlight different things on our map as well here. We're able to use other types of pens like our ink pen, and we're able to add different points or annotate around different cities, for example, on that map as well. If I tap on that Google icon again, I'm able to go into my YouTube, and I'm able to bring in, drag and drop different videos from YouTube onto my whiteboard. Afterwards, I'm able to press on the plus icon, and that's going to play my YouTube video for me. Now I'm able to full screen that YouTube video with this icon at the top right side. I'm able to change the volume of it as well by using the little volume icon at the bottom, and I'm able to X out of it afterwards. After I'm done with that, I can press on the X icon and it's going to take me back to my whiteboard. So that's my media option when it comes to the plus icon. Next to my media option, I get an option for content. So this will allow me to bring in different types of contents from different subjects. So for example, we have maths, shapes, geography, culture, and etc. So I'm just going to go on to my next page for this one. So in here, we also get a choice for different backgrounds. So we can drag and drop those different backgrounds onto the screen like our line paper backgrounds, and we can pinch into them to zoom in or zoom out, for example. If I go back into my backgrounds along the top here, I'm able to use the transparent tool to get rid of that background as well. In here we also have different graphs, for example, and different pyramid schemes and etc. that we're able to drag and drop onto our whiteboard as well. If I go in home along the top, I also have a few different maths tools. So in here, we can drag and drop our ruler on the screen. We can use two of our fingers to move that ruler around. And we can use our red and our blue notch on the ruler to measure and stamp different lines on the screen. We have our ruler in our centimeters, our inches, and then we also have different tools here for maths, geometry, and etc. that we can use in class. So I'm just going to make a new page here. If I go back into my plus icon, I have shapes, so fairly straightforward. We're able to add in different shapes like triangles and etc. onto the whiteboard. We have our AI assistant, which will be with our Lynx Pro. So essentially with AI assistant, you're able to make different presentations. You're able to make different AI images depending on the subject and depending on the audience age that you set up in those AI settings. Under that, we have a page link feature. This will allow me to link a certain page to a current page. So for example, let's say we have our presentation names on the first page, people that are leading the presentation. And then when we go to the last page, we can add in that page link and say thank you to, and then once we tap on that page link, it will take us back to the first page. Thank you to all the people that are leading the presentation. Just an example of how that page link could work. Under that, we have a table. So in here, we're able to bring in, for example, a 5x5 table. Next to that, we have browse. So browse is actually quite a useful feature. So we can go for an option that's called browse files. And here, once I have my Google Drive or my OneDrive connected to my Lynx account, I'm able to go into my Google Drive and I'm able to select a certain PDF file. Afterwards, I can resize it by using the gray circles, and I'm able to see that PDF file on my whiteboard. I'm able to use the little arrow here to go in between different pages of that PDF file as well. And then I'm able to use my pencil icon and I'm able to circle different things on that PDF file and annotate over it. So it could be useful to bring in different types of files onto my whiteboard and annotate over them. It could be PowerPoint files and etc. depending on what your needs are. Once you're done using the whiteboard, you can go for the three-line menu to save that presentation onto your Google Drive. So there's an option that says save as. You're able to use the documents option if you want to save it to the local storage of the interactive display itself. But I would highly suggest to save it to your drive. So whether it's Google Drive or your OneDrive, once you have it connected, you can select that drive. And then along the bottom where that empty line is, You can tap on that line to name that file, and then next to that, you can change the type of the file. So you can either save it as a Lynx file, which means that if you get back into that file in future, you're going to be able to delete different things on that file, move those pictures around, and etc. Or you can save it as a PDF file. So a PDF file, you won't be able to edit it anymore. My advice is save it as a Lynx file if you're looking to present the same presentation again and go over it. But if you're looking to send that presentation to someone else to use it for something, then maybe save it as a PDF file. Once you're done naming the file and choosing the type of a file, you can tap on that save option at the bottom right side of that window to save it to that cloud drive. If I tap on that three-line menu again, I also get an option that's called Share and Print. Share and Print will allow me to share that presentation with my colleagues or my students that might be in the same class. So once we're done making the presentation, we can use the share option. That will create a QR code for me, and then the students are able to scan that QR code to save that presentation onto their device. This stops students from taking pictures of the screen and possibly getting other students in those pictures, or getting yourself, the teacher, in the pictures. This way, with the QR code, they can scan the QR code and they can download it straight from the QR code onto their device. I'm just going to take us back to the home screen now. So back into our side arrow, we also have a finder. So a finder will give you access to the local storage. As you can see, it's called storage there. And it will also give you access to your cloud drive once you connect that cloud drive to the Clevertouch itself. To add your cloud drive, all you have to do is tap on add. You just sign into your Google Drive, your OneDrive, and you're able to add it onto your Clevertouch. If I go into my Google Drive here, I'm able to see different type of files that I have here. So we're just going to go for this demo presentation here. We're able to play different PowerPoint files. If we don't want to open them from Lynx, we can just open them up from the Clevertouch itself. To do this, I would highly advise downloading an app that's called WPS Office from your CleverLive store. I'll show you in a few minutes how to do that as well. WPS Office will allow you to open up any sort of files on your Clevertouch without a need to download Word for Word files, PowerPoint for PowerPoint files, and etc. We can tap on play to play different presentations here, and we can swipe through different presentations or use our remote to skip through different presentations as well. Now, I have this pencil icon here on the left hand side of my screen. This will give me an access to a few different features. Along the top, we have a lock option. So if we have multiple accounts on our Clevertouch screen, we can lock our account and then someone else can log into their account afterwards. Under that, we have a back icon that's going to take us back out of different things. So for example, if I wanted to go out of that presentation now, I would use that arrow or the back icon to go out of it. Under that, we have our home option, a home icon that's going to take us back to the home screen with the two side arrows and one bottom arrow. Under that, we have our HDMI icon. The HDMI icon will allow me to see the different connections that I have here. So for example, my Lux, my HDMI, and etc. All the features that I took you through before. Under that, we have a whiteboard icon that's going to take me to my default whiteboard on my Clevertouch. Under that, we have two windows together. That's going to show me all the active apps on my Clevertouch at the moment. So that's all the apps that are currently running in the background. And I can use the split feature at the very bottom to split screen, so to have two different apps open on the screen at the same time. Under that, we have a magnifying glass with a plus sign that's going to freeze my screen, and then I'm able to zoom into different parts of that screen. When I'm done, I'm able to use the X icon to exit out of that screen freeze or screen zoom as well. Under my magnifying glass with a plus sign, I have a pencil icon. Again, that's going to freeze my screen again, and I'm able to tap on my pencil here along the bottom to change the colors of it. And I'm able to annotate over that screen snip. And then we also have highlighters. We can tap on those highlighters to change the color of them. And then we can highlight different things on our whiteboard as well. To delete anything off that, I'm able to place my fist with my thumb towards me, and it's going to recognize the side of my hand. Or I'm able to use the little brush icon to get rid of all the annotations on that screen. I can use the save icon to save that to my local storage, or I can use the QR code to share that to my colleagues. Excuse me, to share that to my colleagues and etc. I also have an option for my cloud drive, so I'm able to upload that screen snip with those annotations to my cloud drive as an image file, for example, as well. Under that, we have our snipping tool, so we're able to snip different parts of the screen, and then we're able to save that snip, or we can use the insert feature to insert that snip into our whiteboard and annotate over that snip. Under that, we have our spanner tool. The spanner tool will give me a few different options, like my spotlight that I'm able to move around the screen. It'll also give me access to my timer and my stopwatch as well, which could be useful to use when we're doing different activities in class, for example. Under our spanner tool, we have a bin with the letter L that's going to allow me to leave any meetings that I'm currently attending on the screen. And under that, we have a little freeze icon that's going to allow me to freeze the screen. If I want to freeze the screen from a distance, I can also use the blue button on my Clevertouch remote to freeze it and unfreeze it as well. I'm just going to go back to the home screen. So in here under our Finder, we have a browser. So fairly straightforward. You are able to use the browser on your Clevertouch as well. Under that, we have a CleverLive store. So inside the CleverLive store, we have access to a few different apps. Now this is mainly aimed at education. So you're mainly going to find different games for our education. You're mainly going to find different games for education. In here, we can look up our WPS Office software that it's going to allow us to open up different files. So we can look it up by using that search feature along the top right side of our CleverLive store. We can also look up different categories of different apps and games, and we can look up different categories of apps and games for different age groups as well if we wish to do so. Under our CleverLive store, we have active, so that's our active apps in the background. Under that, we have our lock, so we're able to lock our account out if we wish to do so. So I took you through that previously. If we have multiple accounts, we're able to lock it. Under that, we have apps. So these are different apps that are currently downloaded on our Clevertouch. If I go into my settings, I'm able to take you through a few settings just before we finish up with the webinar. So we have our wireless and network, so that's our network settings. We can connect via Wi-Fi or via Ethernet. We can also start a hotspot from the display itself to share to our colleagues, our students, and etc. We also have a Bluetooth option. If we wish to connect any Bluetooth speakers, for example, your Clevertouch display does come with really good speakers already, so there is no need for that. But if you wish to do so, you are able to do that through the Bluetooth option. We also have personal here along the top, so our different wallpapers. There's a few different options here for our whiteboard. So that's our default whiteboard of the display, as I was mentioning previously. You can leave that on the Lynx whiteboard, or you can change it to the legacy whiteboard. I would advise to leave it on the Lynx whiteboard if you are coming from the education kind of background, or if you're using it for education. Home application, so that's our interface. I currently have it on education, which means that it has two side arrows on my home screen and one arrow at the bottom. You can change it to Tiramisu, which is more of a googly interface, which you might get with newer models of Clevertouch now, like the Clevertouch X5, for example. Tiramisu will essentially have different apps on the home screen, and you can swipe from the bottom up to get access to different apps. So if that's your interface, you're able to change that to Tiramisu if you do, to education if you do like it more with the two side arrows and a bottom arrow. Then there's also Clever Launcher, which I won't be going through much now at the moment, but it's a custom interface that you can make yourself essentially. Then we have users, so that's our different users that I mentioned previously. So you can add multiple users. So you can have, let's say, 3 teachers are using the same classroom. Each one of them can have their own user, and you can set a password on each user as well. Then we have input and output. So these are different inputs and output settings. I don't think you need to worry about that too much. In here we have different applications. So that's our different applications that are downloaded on our Clevertouch. Here we can give different permissions to those different applications. And here we can delete any applications if we wish to do so as well. We also have our system settings here. So we have our system date and time and etc. We also have startup and shutdown settings, which I think would be pretty useful to set up. So here along the bottom, it tells me it has a timer switch. There's an option that says add boot task. So that's a task when the display is going to turn on. So we can get it to turn on every Monday to Friday, from Monday to Friday at 8:45 a.m. for example. And then there's an off task, which means that the screen will turn on. I have it to turn off Monday to Friday at 5:30 p.m. So you can set it to turn off, let's say at 3 p.m. Monday to Friday, and etc. I'm just going to go back into those system settings now. Since we're back from our school holidays, our 3 months off school, it is worth checking for any updates. To check for updates, you're just going on your system and you're going on system update. On some models, if you can't find your system update on those system settings, you're going to go on your about settings and you should be able to find system update there. We're going to tap into our system update, and along the top right side we can check for any updates. So just please make sure your display is fully up to date to make sure it's functioning properly. Once you check for updates, and if it tells you that there's an update available, confirm it. So download the update. So the update will have to download up to 100% first. Once that download is done, you can then install the update, which will apply to the screen itself. So just make sure you go through both of the steps, download it first, confirm that, and then once it's downloaded, tap on the install option so you can go back into settings to see if it finished the download. Confirm that install then afterwards. So that's our webinar for today. Thank you for joining the September webinar. If you do have any questions, feel free to email us on sales@avio.ie. Thank you very much.